somebody calls me, he's like, hey, your truck is parked at a mall, go pick it up. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, at that time we only had 2 trucks, and I'm like, my truck is not there, but he's like, I'm like, send me pictures. He sent me pictures, and it was fake like logo, but it had my MC on there.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Freight CAVIAR podcast. I'm your host, Paul. Today's episode was recorded at the end of March when Bob and I visited Chattanooga, Tennessee. Chattanooga, Tennessee, if you're not aware, has the most freight employees per capita in the United States. It is home to logistics companies like Steam Logistics, U.S. Express, Covenant Transportation, FreightWaves, and many, many more. FreightWaves has dubbed this region of America as Freight Alley. It really is a remarkable city to visit. It honestly felt like the Silicon Valley of freight. In this shorter, spontaneous episode, we sat down with Patrick Childs, the VP of Strategic Operations, and George Yates, the Senior VP and GM at Covenant Logistics. If you like this video, please make sure to like it, leave a comment, and leave us a 5-star review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Any feedback you have, we greatly appreciate as it helps us grow. Thanks for tuning in, and if you'd like to receive freight market updates, news, and entertainment, subscribe to our newsletter on freightcaviar.com. Let's dive in.
To George's point, like one of the things we've had to kind of revamp is obviously make sure our carrier qualifications, that our standards have increased, but a big thing for us lately is just the ability to better monitor carriers on an ongoing basis. So a lot of what brokers focus on is the kind of the onboarding requirements. Mm-hmm. But 3 months from now, 6 months from now, a carrier's behavior can change.
Yeah.
So putting some processes in place to kind of monitor carriers on a more ongoing basis.
That makes sense.
We're seeing legitimate carriers start stealing out of nowhere too. So like carriers that have been in business 9 months or a year.
Oh wow.
No issues at all. Mm-hmm. No reports on any freight guards or carrier sure or whatever. And all of a sudden they just start scraping product off of loads, and then they start stealing full truckloads.
Wow. I know though brokers like scammers continuously are buying good MCs.
Yep.
Because they want a good MC that has a good record. Mm-hmm. All the brokers are set up with them, and then they start stealing from them too. So,
and that Glendale, Glendale, California, obviously hot market for theft. But what you're seeing is they're changing the origins of their MC to like Denver, Colorado, and Overland Park, Kansas, and using virtual addresses like Staples centers.
Yeah.
It's just there's so much more human capital being allocated to like the time of trying to drive out the scamming. So we're having to invest a ton of manual resources
just to catch them.
Increase the amount of steps we're taking in processes just to.
And I feel like the crazy part, the government is not really stepping in, right? Mm-hmm. Or no? Like nobody's really doing anything about that. Even when we opened RMC, which was like 2.5 years ago, I literally had a call from a random. It was like somebody calls me. He's like, "Hey, your truck is parked at a mall. Go pick it up." And I'm looking at it. I'm like, at that time we only had 2 trucks, and I'm like, my truck is not there, But he's like, I'm like, send me pictures. He sent me pictures, and it was fake like logo, but it had my MC on there. So he looked up my MC. Jeez. So somebody set up. The crazy part was like it was dispatcher setting up this. This truck driver, like as an owner operator, booking him loads, not giving him the loads, like and not paying him for the loads, and he was just hauling this stuff under my MC. It was such a twist. We tried to reach out to the FBI, we tried to reach out to like the DOT, and nobody could do nothing about it. And we're like, we're brand new in this business. It was such a struggle. So
it's going to take Congress and lobbyists to get involved to stop it, because it's getting worse by the day.
Yeah.
I was offered $10,000 a month to set up a MC for a double broker.
Did you do it?
No.
What's your
No, I wouldn't say anything right now if I did it.
Well, what they're figuring out is it's easier to steal freight than move freight legitimately and make money, because nobody's going to stop them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But besides the fact of theft and all the problems in the industry, we are in Chattanooga right now. Mm-hmm. Beautiful freight capital, maybe freight capital of the U.S. Could you tell us a little bit about Chattanooga and why, maybe the history of Covenant? We see all the Freightliners parked outside right here. Mm-hmm. Can you give us a little background of like what makes Chattanooga special, what makes Covenant special, and a little bit more about the company?
Yeah, I'll try to hit on that. So, obviously Covenant US Express, founded 36, 37 years ago by David Parker and Max Fuller. And, there's some family history and dynamics there, but, I guess you could trace it back to Clyde Fuller, which was their dad, was it Southwest Motor?
Yeah.
Right. And, they split off and started two separate companies, and, both grew to north of $1 billion in revenue. And I guess that 36, 37-year history. And, we're located right along the Tennessee River and the I-75 and I-24 corridor. There's a lot of capacity that moves through this market. And, I guess through years of success, you've started to see other companies and people branch off on their own, and it's became a freight brokerage logistics hub, and it's just been pretty exciting to see over the last 10 years. The transformation's been incredible, and you can trace it all back, or the founders all back to a certain set of companies in the Chattanooga market from 10, 15, 20 years ago.
Oh.
And it's fairly easy to attract talent here too, just because obviously it's naturally beautiful. It's very business-friendly environment, so we have a lot of large businesses moving here. So Chattanooga's invested quite a bit in its technology and internet infrastructure. So that's also helped, because generally brokerages, have a younger demographic working for them, and Chattanooga's a cool place to live, and so that's definitely helped brokerages grow here really quickly too.
Definitely. The fast internet helps a lot when you have to post loads and cover trucks. You got faster internet, so you can book quicker.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, what else can you tell us about Chattanooga and our Covenant?
Covenant, we've grown our service offering quite a bit over the past couple of years. Our brokerage has grown tremendously, gotten really disciplined in our asset side of the business, and then we've, through acquisition and kind of organically grown into other areas of the business. So have a managed transportation offering now, have quite a bit of presence in warehousing, and a lot of that's just been through acquisition and just adjusting to our customers' needs. So, traditionally we would offer, hey, we offer truckload, but now we can have a more holistic service offering for our customers.
To expand on that, there's three main SBUs within the Covenant enterprise. You've got your legacy expedited asset model. So we've got 800 teams, second largest team carrier in the country. We've got a contract logistics offering, which is dedicated in warehousing. So 4 million square feet in warehousing and growing, and then 1,400 dedicated capacity assets. And then our freight management group, which encompasses our freight brokerage and managed trains offering. We've grown 6x in 6 years, so I think we're continuing that growth, and we're excited about the vision we have as an organization. We've gotten really disciplined in our strategic plan and acquisition strategy, and our focus is on driving more value for our customers, and really just staying disciplined.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys, how many units you guys said you have, like trucks and trailers?
Trailers, I believe, is around 7,000.
Oh, wow.
7,000 to 8,000 trailers, roughly 2,400 to 2,500 true asset trucks.
How do you even keep track of all that?
We've got a lot of smart people. Made a lot of investments in terms of our technology infrastructure.
Yeah.
And they've been doing it a long time. So I'm not going to pretend to be an asset SME, but I will tell you that we've got a lot of people that do a really good job, and we've got a lot of executive leadership that's really bought in and invested in taking care of our equipment, our professional drivers, our teammates, and our customers. And we've aligned ourselves strategically with our top customers, and our network is very defined. It's very niche-y. The acquisitions that we've made have not been just like your true standard OTR carriers. We bought into dedicated and warehousing through the Land Air acquisition. Most recent acquisition was Access America Transport. So 30-ish expedited teams hauling nothing but governmental, Department of Defense, it's been a spectacular investment for the organization. And as we look outside, if we're going to continue to make additional acquisitions, it's going to be sticky, niche-y business that we can build long term.
So, knowing what you guys know, what kind of advice would you potentially give Bob, who has 15 or so assets, to grow the company? Like any particular knowledge or wisdom that you could provide to him and just to anyone that has a trucking company, especially in this downturn market?
Yeah. So align yourselves with shippers that are going to play the long term with you. Shippers that you can build a dedicated or an engineered network around. Not the best market to align long-term agreements in a soft market, but there is shippers out there that do value true, legitimate partnerships, and they're not just going to be transactional. So move yourself away from the transactional business as much as you can, and find people that are going to continue to invest in you and your organization and help you grow in a smart way long term. And stay away from commoditized business.
Commoditized?
Find stuff that is going to be consistent year-round, less volatility. If I could give you any advice, that's what I would focus on.
It's interesting because I feel like right now, I definitely agree with that. I think a lot of people want to see the personal to personal, even the shippers.
Yep.
But you have right now where technology is kind of taking over, right? You have Uber, or you have all these other brokers that are popping up.
Yep.
And it's sometimes for us, because we work in the office and we try to book loads, and it's like you don't even communicate with anybody anymore. You just literally go on the board and you book a load. And I get it to a point. It's kind of, it makes life easier sometimes, and it's like you need less people for that. But then if there's an issue, it's so hard to reach anybody.
Yeah.
Like we talked about this with my team when I think Uber started acquiring people now, but like it was impossible to reach anybody on Uber Freight. And then we were like, okay, we're not going to book any more loads with Uber because it was just, once you have a problem, it's impossible to solve it. So it's interesting. So we'll see if they kind of switch back or if it levels out. The technology and the actual people-to-people connection.
I think that you referenced the people-to-people connection, and there's still a lot of shippers out there. There's a lot of freight brokers out there that still value that personal
relationship. Yeah.
And it can't just be a one-way point of contact in your organization. So as your company grows, you want those multi-dimensional layered relationships with those shippers, right? You want your day-to-day contacts. You want to have contact with those directors and VPs of logistics, and eventually the owners of those companies too. So it's a lot easier to make those point of contacts with small to mid-market shippers, but if you can get buy-in at the top end of the spectrum of those shippers, that's where you're going to see the most value, and that's where they're going to align with you more for the long term.
It all trickles down.
Correct.
Honestly, we were so surprised. Me and Paul, we went out to talk to some shippers
yesterday
because I'm based out of Charlotte, and Paul was been pushing me to kind of go try it out. So at first I thought they would just tell me to screw off, especially like right now. I feel like the market is just, but everybody was super nice. Like we visited 4 and they were super nice. We got everyone's numbers and they were like, yeah, reach out if anything. So
and it turned out that one of them was a shipper that I did a lot of work with back at my previous brokerage. And I was kind of shocked. I didn't even know that they were right around the corner from Bob's, I guess, headquarters. It's
a small world. It's a big industry, but it's a small world.
Yeah, it is. And it's all relationships at the end of the day. Like, relationships are going to get you to the next level.
And people want to work with people that they can trust. So, like, if you can get that face-to-face interaction with them and they can see that, you're a real human being and not just somebody hiding behind an email, it goes a long way.
You're not in Armenia somewhere.
Very valid point.
Yeah. Patrick, anything to add to that? To Bob, for Bob?
I think you had mentioned a little while ago, just your network. You ran stars, and I had never actually heard that before. I've heard running triangles, but it's kind of what George had said, where just a lot of carriers are trying to continue to chase rate, and the spot market doesn't exist really right now. So it's if you really want to set yourself up for the long term, it's about forming relationships with shippers and brokers like us, who we really look for that kind of more dedicated capacity on our lanes rather than chase rate. So, relationships.
Yeah,
so.
I would rather pay a premium to somebody I trust than making 5% more and not knowing if my freight's
exactly if it's going to get stolen or not.
And show like when you're getting in front of these shippers or brokers or whoever you're partnering with, like show them what your capacity looks like on a daily basis. You know, put that data in front of them, like keep pushing that to them every single day, and find the people that are actually going to absorb that information and leverage it for their networks too. That's who you want to work with.
Yeah, definitely. Someone's going to succeed in this market downturn, you know.
Yeah.
Some won't, but those that like actually reach out and build those relationships.
For sure.
You guys seem great. I mean, we were just talking to a rep out there, and she wanted
Talking
to help.
our Boston guy, Ben, over there. Yeah,
Ben, and then we
fantastic.
talked with Hannah
Yeah,
too.
Hannah.
Hannah as well.
Hannah's fantastic too.
Yeah. So it's amazing. Cool.
What's the future plans for Covenant, or what do you guys have any future plans? What do you guys look like in 5 years, 10 years?
So, you know, obviously we're going to continue to invest into the contract logistics warehousing space. We're going to continue to invest into niche acquisitions. You know, part of our 5-year strategic plan and outlook is, you know, we're in the process of making the largest tech investment we've ever made in our company's history, whether not just through our TMS investments, but through platform science. Continue to invest in our HRS systems and stuff like that. We've got a lot going on upstairs in our technology group, but continue to focus on delivering value to the shippers that we want to partner with. Continue to invest into team members that can help facilitate that growth, because at the end of the day, I mean, we say this in brokerage all the time, but the same holds for assets. Like, people are our most important asset.
Yeah.
We can't be successful without our professional drivers working 365 days a year. We can't be successful without the people working to help them facilitate and make that happen. But long term, you know, I believe Covenant's going to continue to be successful. We're going to stay disciplined, and we're not just going to go chase things that aren't going to add long-term value. So less transactional, definitely more longer-term plays.
Smart.
Definitely.
Yeah, because there's definitely, I feel like, a lot of companies that start up and they chase, you know, and they get after everything, and then next thing you know, they can't keep running it that way. So it's good to stay disciplined and keep doing that.
And we're excited about it. I mean, obviously you're seeing a lot of consolidation in the market. You know, I feel like, you know, we've got that 36, 37-year history, and the shelf life of most companies is not nearly that long. So it's pretty unique to have ownership that has seen and done it all. You know, we thought we had saw everything prior to COVID.
Yeah.
Obviously that environment changed everything, but you know, it's pretty cool to work with people that have the wisdom dating back to the 80s, right? And just seeing how they've advanced and, you know, kept up with the times, and it's just pretty cool to, I mean, just in the past 5 years, how much we've transformed. It's just cool to watch.
Yeah.
There must have been a lot of down markets since the 80s.
Yeah,
Several.
it has.
Yeah. Oh, it's been great. Well, thanks guys for
Having us.
Happy to do it.
for having us.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Appreciate
Really
you
cool.
guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming in.
It was
Of
cool
course.
to check out Chattanooga just in general too.
Yeah, shout out to Texas.
Are you
Located.
set up with us?
Am I set up with you?
Yeah.
We just checked, I believe so. I don't know
Okay.
why. I know this seems kind of crazy, but our score is down because we've been getting so many inspections. We have all brand new equipment,
Yeah.
like brand new trucks, brand new trailers, and DOT is after us. I know as bad as that sounds, but like
They're
right
after
now,
everybody right now.
yeah, and it's like we've been getting bad inspection, and it's for the stupidest reasons ever. Like,
Well, you just got a good inspection a couple days ago. That's going to update in 3
yeah,
weeks, I think.
yeah, we
Oh,
have
yeah.
good ones, but I think we are set up because I was just checking with Ben, but the score is like,
Well, if you ever need any help with that, we've got some people internally that'd probably be happy to talk to you about it.
that would be great if you could get me connected.
You got your
Or if
business
I,
card?
I think it's in the car because
Yeah.
I was
Get my
getting-
contact info from Ryan. I'll put you in touch
Okay.
with Misty over there.
Yeah, that would be
She's-
awesome.
Yep.
Because we're small and
She's a
we're like
great
trying to
secretary.
like literally we're actually right now we were talking about running the stars. So we had David on the podcast and he's got good amount of trucks from Charlotte and he like figured out the triangle. But I was like, I don't think I told you, but we were talking about how we run it. Right now we're running stars like everywhere all over the country because
It's all transactional.
it's all like spot freight, you know. And I'm like, we need to figure something out where we have like at least a dedicated lane. That way we know, hey,
That's
we're
the part of
going
it.
there.
You run
and
any
coming
power
back.
only?
No, not right now. We have about 15
Well,
trucks
you probably
and
could
20
if you,
trailers.
right? Or
Yeah,
no?
if the money's right, we
We
could.
need to look at some of our postal freight.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I mean, Some of it's your own trailers. It's live, but it's all round trip and it's
Oh, yeah.
multi-year contracts.
Round trips would be perfect.
great.
Yeah, that would work.
Just got to make sure it's a fit for your driver domiciles and stuff. But
Yeah.
I've got about $60 million of freight just in USPS. And
Oh, wow. Okay.
90% of it's round trip, and it's year-round, everyday business.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. He's like, hey, you're gonna make some good connections here. So yeah.
Send me his
Covenant,
contact info.
Yeah.
Covenant's good people.
Yeah. No, I know. I've seen their trucks everywhere, and I've heard
Yeah.
great things. So
Good
I'm pretty
values.
sure we've done loads too, because my brother had a company out of Rochester, and I helped him start it. And then he actually ended up moving to Alabama, Huntsville, Alabama, and then I separated and started my own thing in Charlotte. So yeah.
So you from Charlotte originally, or?
No, originally I'm from Ukraine. I
Okay.
moved here to America when I was 8 years old to Rochester, New York, upstate New York. A huge Ukrainian community there, huge trucking community there.
Yeah.
It sounds like Chattanooga, where you guys had it here. It was like all family related too, and everyone went on their own. But it's a lot smaller,
You
you
have
know.
a
So
family over there still
in Rochester,
in Ukraine?
Ukraine, my mom's side, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
but most
I'm
of the
sure
people.
that's tough right now.
Yeah, it is. But they're on the western side, so it's okay. It's not that bad, because the eastern side is super bad. But yeah. And then I moved to Charlotte. I actually went to work for a company called BFM. I worked there for 7 months as a dispatcher, and then quit that and started our own.
Got that entrepreneurial spirit and got after it.
Oh, yeah.
I like
Yeah,
it.
but I was a driver. I drove as soon as I turned 21. I got my CDL, hopped in the truck, and I drove. I don't know. I mean, I drive even now sometimes, do local pickups, because we're not that big. So I drove for like 5 years nonstop. Strong Solo Circuit, Texas and back.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it was good stuff.
Yeah.
True cowboy.
That was before the e-logs. But yeah.
That definitely changed the industry.
Yeah, for sure. It was a huge shock, I feel like, for everybody. At first it was good, because I feel like the rates went up, the safety it was probably a little bit better, you could see, but now it's kind of tough, so.
Yeah.
I think the big thing working with Covenant is you got somebody obviously that understands trucking.
Yeah.
And they support it and they understand. As much as
100%.
as rates come down and they need to make margin to support their business.
Of course.
They understand from the asset side, those who treat them well and they treat them well.
Yeah.
It just works really well, because I mean, they're seeing drivers walk up here every day and
Yeah.
knowing that
Yeah, they
you
walk
gotta
around
be
the
able to
building.
feed your family, and you gotta be able to, everybody's gotta make money, and it has to make sense.
100%, and like we kind of mentioned, these like, I don't want to blast like any, but like all these brokers that are popping up, that they don't have that relation. They don't even know what the what it costs to run a truck per mile. You know, they're just literally sending you a load for $1 a mile, and you're like, I'd rather drive empty, than book this $1 a mile load. It doesn't make any sense. Plus, it's like 40,000 pounds or something. So
It's burning more fuel for less money.
exactly, yeah. I was like, because I was talking to my friend from Washington. He's like Oregon, Washington, and he's like, I told him to come visit us in Charlotte. He's like, book me a load, I'll come visit you. I'm like, it's probably cheaper to just fly here than to drive out of Washington right now, because the rates were so bad. So, yeah.
Thanks for tuning in to the Daily Freight Caviar podcast. If you enjoyed the podcast, or if you didn't, leave a review. Let me know what you think. I appreciate any feedback. If you'd like to have more Freight Caviar content, go to freightcaviar.com and subscribe to my email newsletter.